Hello. Hello. How goes? It be going? It's going. How my hair is a mess. I need to fix that. Hello everyone. How we do? How we do? We do. Also, let me adjust my little thing here. Hello. Hello. We're here. We're doing it. I need to figure out how to not have this be disgusting. But what's going on? We're playing Great Ace Attorney Chronicles again today. Excuse me. We're gonna have a good time. We're going to wrap up. I gotta fix my mic stuff too. We're gonna be fixing my mic stuff, and then we're gonna be playing Great Ace Attorney Chronicles to continue our investigation into who this mysterious fourth man is that was the bench. The bench. Which bench? Which bench are we talking about? The which bench? The fourth man? The fourth man bench? Oh, bench. You were off a little bit. The wrong vowel. Show me the bench. Well, we're gonna get right into that bench. We're gonna do it. Also, I don't know why that. I'm gonna have to fix that, but here we go. Let's continue our runaway room adventure. I gotta remember all the voices that I was giving to everybody, because there were a lot of them. I know for a fact there were just a ton. So also let me make sure that my mic is on it's on the wrong mic. That would explain why everything was so weird. That would explain why everything was weird, because I had the wrong mic set. Perfect. We love it. We love it a lot. We love it when I make mistakes. But it's good. We did it now. All right. Right back into where we were before. Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Let the proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
Oh. To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you.
Oh yeah, because we did invite him to the stand. That's what we did. I forgot. We invited him to the stand because we had some questions we wanted to ask him about this mysterious fourth person.
The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
Begad, no. 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut?
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded?
Oh no. The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true?
Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. Why the fuck would you say that?
You. What?
You idiot. You idiot. So you're an accomplice to murder. Okay, Magnus.
No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know.
Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. Oh, what? Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa! Fire! Fire! What is happening? Hello? What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess.
Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Excuse me? Excuse me, pardon me? Excuse me, pardon me?
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended.
What? What? Wait, hold on. Hold on. I call bullshit. What's going on? I don't either. I don't either. I don't understand. I have no idea. Uh-huh, okay. '18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber.
What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Miss Susato,
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
a smoke grenade? It sounded like some sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then, could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
Bring me the bench!
My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night, at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
but now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We're going straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato.
Yes. Don't smile. It's gonna mess us up a little bit. I just know it. We're gonna get goofed. We're gonna get goofed a whole lot. 18th of February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, hello. Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself part of a family.
There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather uneventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zieks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my court? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
Him. If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything.
Okay, here we go. Let's figure out who this girl is. The young girl.
On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
Okay, why do we keep going back to somebody on the floor? This person was never on the floor. They died in the chair. So, I'm very confused.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord.
Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is we need to press on he was on the floor. Because I want to know what he has to say about being on the floor. I also want to know what he has to say about waking up to a scream and the girl is in there. Because that means somebody else killed him and she saw it happen. And she got scared. So what is happening here? Okay, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Okay, that checks out. Because he's supposed to be in that back seat because he wasn't seen. Great. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream?
Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed?
Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but the fella on the floor.
You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream.
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes.
There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him on the seat. Okay, he was on the floor, so I sat him up on the seat. There was no blood on the floor.
You sat him up? The victim, you mean?
That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Lord Van Zeeks. Now why would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest.
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble.
Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there?
Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first.
Then the whys and wherefores?
Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddle. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same?
Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim. Let's see. Okay.
Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it! I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim.
So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside.
Good gracious. Under your backside?
I knew it. I knew it. It was from under the chair. So the question is, how did she get in there?
And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage.
Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Which I did.
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
There was stuff under the chair. How'd she fit? Well, maybe she was just really tiny. Maybe she was just really teeny tiny. Okay, let's look at it again. Okay, yeah. We know. Oh, what? That wasn't there when I checked before. Am I crazy? There totally wasn't blood on the floor. It was just on the seat. That wasn't there. That really wasn't there. Like, I can go back and watch the exact moment that we looked at it, and there was no blood. Yeah, I made no mention of it. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Because that wasn't there before. I remember looking and there was no blood. What? Hold on. This seat has a handle. Lift it up. What? It's empty. Hold on. Wait, there was stuff in there. There was straight up stuff in there. There's nothing in here. Something doesn't seem right here. Oh my god, wait. Did Van Zeeks... Did he falsify evidence? Is he adding stuff and taking stuff away? Because that was full of stuff, and this bloodstain was not on the ground. At all. Is he... Wait. Is he altering evidence? There is no updated autopsy report. It's just a regular autopsy report. He's messing with evidence. That's... what? Whoa.
Hold it!
Because that's weird.
You say she was hiding herself?
Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest.
I don't know why he would alter evidence in favor of him being the one to kill.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
This is weird.
Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chit-chat chinwag with her.
Chinwag. The seat opposite.
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir.
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGillen. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason.
Aye, my lord. Do. I was, as I think everyone understands now, at the back of the carriage out of sight.
He is wearing pink, you're right. So I'm still hitting the doubt button. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl.
After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Nanahono.
Being the defendant's lawyer, and yet finding out myself as stunned and everyone else and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else at his testimony. Goodness gracious. Let's just say it's trying.
We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilden before the trial. But we mustn't be dispirited. We must just try to learn all the facts we can.
When we arrived in London this morning, I didn't see my day panning out like this.
Mr. Nanahono, no grumbling, even in your head.
How do you know? How did you know?
On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus.
Let's just keep doing this. And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board?
There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Thank you. I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord.
Lestrade? Lestrade? Oh.
She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses.
Detective Inspector Lestrade? Gregory Lestrade? Gregory. Just calling yourself Gregory? That's his name.
What's commonly called a pickpocket.
What? This girl here? A petty thief?
I mean, she is dressed like one.
Order, order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Whoa, 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 whoa! Gun? Gun? How dare you! What is the meaning of this? Oh, the girl. She's gone.
What? Oh, open your eyes. I'm over here.
Good gracious. How... What was the point in that little sidestep?
I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She's got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it?
I love it. No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... What the hell? What are you doing? She does look like the little Russian girl.
Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Okay. Great. Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs.
Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
No, do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. Oh, she hates him.
'Tis all right, lass. You can tell them the truth now. All right. Yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. Took that from Sholmes. That does look like Sholmes' gun. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
All right. If I have to.
Goodness. Goodness, what a mess. What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside a cabbage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see the blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Okay. Okay. Yes, he let you go. Uh-oh. Why'd it do that? Why are you doing? Hey. Oh, it unplugged. That's why. I'm like, why is it not letting me... Cause it's dying, that's why. And for some reason, plugging it in just isn't gonna do it. That's weird. Alright, there we go. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself.
I think a demonstration is called for.
This is where I was sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you've spoken is underneath this seat,
and it's the judge. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate some of the girl's stature.
Aye, but of course the wee lass was stuck in there, because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah, so you see.
That's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined with all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this.
I forget what his accent was. I forgot. Whatever.
I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Good. Get on in there. Good. Fucking final. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Okay.
Boom. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
I forgot what his accent was. There's so many characters.
Mr. Naruhodo,
It must mean what? That we're victorious.
We've won?
Are you sure? Put your damn foot down, Van Zeeks.
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day.
Emotion?
The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings.
See, yeah, I knew it. There was stuff in there.
It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. Gilder's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
Yeah, figured as much. Order.
How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. Goodness gracious. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my friend...
Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
Oh, to be sure. The young gentleman was able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is on an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least,
When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, Counsel?
Ada, be whist. What are you saying now, you daft daw? I thought you were on my side here.
Uh-oh. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting.
'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella.
I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded.
Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. A fella's memory is a curious thing, not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole, under the seat, is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken?
Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. The money-lending fleecer and the pig purser liar.
Well, shit. It's probably going to be doing this a lot.
I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick.
Quite so. I must concur here. We're just gonna be flip-flopping for like ever. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, and it would seem. Ba-ba-ba.
I hate it. All right, let's keep. She talks the whole time, so we want to see when he breaks. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. Okay, like always. So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants.
Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20, to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace, riding for free.
The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hiding under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, you know.
brushes and buckets that were not in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No, it never seemed to bother much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
It was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me trouble.
Hold it! A waste of time? Why is that?
Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit at least some at a time. Jesus.
I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit?
Oh yeah. Well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, carriage ain't got no money in it for a while.
And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away.
That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you?
So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then?
You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. So why did you scream?
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with my head and look at the crack. Then I can have a butcher's hat, who I'm gonna fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I can have a look. The seat I got under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So, most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason, that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head.
And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in a clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice.
Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor.
So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there, nothing else for it. Okay, that's where I'm very confused. Oh, loud bang. Oh, is that him falling? What is going on?
Hold it!
What bang? Is this him falling?
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
And you let out a scream involuntarily?
That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke, who had fallen on the floor of the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns round and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. Damn. Okay.
Hold it!
Let's see. When Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah. The bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both of my hands got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGildet for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name, and what I was up to and at. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one to see me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this there Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." Okay. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they were all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we could clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. I have this feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Okay. Just like always, nothing to show for your troubles. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Nearly jumped out of my skin. The screen just came out. Huh. This is tough. Okay, so these are his gloves. Single stab. Okay. Huh. This is tough. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Okay. That doesn't contradict anything. Hear this loud bang. It's because of the bang and the scream that he found it. Blind thing in a hiding place is He pulled you up next to Mr. Mason. Okay, so this checks out. What's... Okay. Nearly jumped out of my skin. Could have been, I suppose, I don't remember so well. And I felt the cushion over get lighter all of a sudden. Push up the cushion. The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor. There's like nothing to retort. What do we have? Hemorrhaging is a single... Okay, that checks. Yeah, okay. Still bleeding. I have no idea what to do here. Let's save, because I want to try a few different things. Scream just came out. It's because of the scream this swell found me.
Hold it!
Let me see this again. Pulled you out.
Okay, so that... Okay. Huh. Conclusive piece of evidence. Something's bothering you. Yeah, it's the blood on the ground.
Hold it!
Did we press this one yet? Yeah, okay. Okay. Little skate. Okay, nice, whatever. Okay, so that's weird. Maybe he was still bleeding? Huh. Okay, I want to try and present... No. Because she... Okay. So I think it's this one. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. So I feel like this has to do with...
Hold it!
What does she say for this? Okay, can't have a butcher's at him, gonna fiddle. Okay, most of the time the passengers plan himself opposite. Okay, so the Irishman sat on your head. For that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. You're not too happy in small dark places.
Well, no.
You didn't do this before. Hey, now.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded?
Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel?
I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself.
Oh, no, 'twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was.
I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now.
Aye, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well.
Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? Any unusual noise, perhaps?
Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp.
What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's important. My lord? I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me.
That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Hold it! So, you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself.
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I cut my head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill had sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. What, you Adam and Eve, eh? What a mug. So then, all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? God damn, these are hard. But wait, not likely. Even though he stopped there and there, I never heard the door open. So, just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was.
Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Okay. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so, well, okay. She heard him snoring, and then there was the thud. She screamed, he woke up. It makes sense. Well, that all seems to make sense. You took your time reaching that conclusion, Counsel. What was that from Van Zeeks? Is he laughing? Very well, then. Continue with the cross-examination. After a while, I hear this loud bang on the top of my skin. The scream just came out. Okay. Alright, so I think it's this one now. Because this is the one they're all like, huh. So maybe if I say it doesn't make sense? Well, I mean, it makes sense, which is why it doesn't make sense. Maybe. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So, Van Zeeks realized it too. I haven't even realized it, so I don't know what's going on here. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Renosuke, think! There's something else she should have heard. What? The murder? He was snoring. Should she have heard a person? He was sleeping. Yeah, that's right. Mason? Hold on. She should have heard him dying. Show a person. Want me to elaborate? A particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice-fired Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Oh, I got it right then. Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on one of the drivers in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilden. That it was, not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never read it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did, or did not hear, is at odds with the facts. Okay, cool. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You've demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. This man... Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. What is going on? And this girl's a pickpocket. What does that mean? Granny? Granny, we're gonna have a problem. She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
And neither can I. Mr. Foreman! I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. I hate you. It's just you, Dandy Man.
Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
Uh-oh, here we go again. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Open your mouth when you drink, stupid. Yes, very refreshing. Uh-oh.
What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadon?
Amadon? I don't know.
This is carnage. It's perfect.
Sure, number 2 is the only one left.
Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going... I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilden's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. Anytime Susato restates the number of people against us, I'm like, not helping!
I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it! Don't you fucking dare. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying?
Counsel? I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to peruse my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? I don't know. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Oh. He was already there. There's another entrance. He was put there after he died. Okay, so... Let me... He was put there after he died. Okay, so the questions that I have here. The only way in, or to be hidden in there from sight, and to be there the whole time, is if he was hidden under here, or there was a thing under here, which there doesn't appear to be. So him being there from the beginning is kinda sketchy. Him being put there after he died, I don't know how that's possible. Because he wasn't there when Mr. McGilded got on. The only people that saw him... Nobody actually saw him get killed. Magnus was sleeping. First saw him after the fact. Skylight? Does this open? Doesn't appear to be a handle or catch. It can't be opened from inside. Can it be opened from outside? Certainly see inside the carriage. And there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witness would have been able to see it quite clearly. What is that? It's a lock. There's a lock on it. It can be opened. There's another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The only has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short,
There is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
Wrong. The window. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Interesting. Okay, so here's my theory. He was stabbed and then pushed through the skylight. So then that would... that would put these two into question. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus in which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin?
The skylight, sir.
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight. Yes, the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However, the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass
Objection!
through. So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Ms. Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A posture check. I got you. A loud noise enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but...
Mighty humble fella. Make a wee comment here.
Mr. McGilded?
To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say.
What?
I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
What is going on here?
Those two chaps on the roof.
You mean, the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... So again, it makes sense that Fair Play is trying to pin the crime on McGilded again. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? What is happening here?
You rotter, he said. You rotter! What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I.
Mr. Fairplay, You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's her. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right. I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel. Oh, Jesus. This is a mess. He's galloping mad.
This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, may I comment? Go ahead, Lord Van Six.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young friend, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. Jeez, this is hard to read. What are we wasting time for? Get to the testimony.
I thought there was something fishy about that hat the moment I laid eyes on that fellow. We have to see this matter through one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Testify! Testify! Jerry!
What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo?
The spectators in the public gallery, they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First.
My lord, you will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment. That's what it is, indictment, brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keeping pushing forward, which is a spelling error. Pushing forward. Refuting the accusation.
We were the only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive, I can swear to that.
If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof?
Okay. I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith.
That's right. You see?
We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you are in collusion.
What?
According to the investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich.
Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. All right, so what I'd like to do here is I noticed something when we were looking at what they were saying. So
We're the only 2 people up on that roof deck that are alive, I can swear to that. Okay. Cool. So that's a thing. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? Yes, of course. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill him. Well, I do have a question. I want to see what other names are in here. Because I know that people say McGilded had dealings with Mason, right? Okay. Will they tell me if there are any other names in there apart from Fairplay? Anything? Okay. Well, we know Bruce Fairplay's name is in here. So let's press on this. So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before? Oh, Lou, no. Not once. Never. He'd never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. I just don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us had the remotest connection to the gentleman who was in the... What are you laughing at?
Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded. Yes, counsel. What can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It's been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I was right with the ledger. I beg your pardon. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. I forgot his accent for a second. And an These words are big, man. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well, now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another? Ah. And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding on your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers, such as Thrice-Fired Mason. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence afore, my lord. Oh, I didn't even look at his hat. It is very peculiar looking. Oh, this you mean? Oh, okay. I can't help thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I also don't know how McGilded knows this. Like, it's like he set himself up with these people. It's weird. I don't understand. Oh! That's one of my hats. Yeah, no shit, buddy. You goobed it. You goobed it a little bit. For maybe he knows he created the perfect alibi. He probably did. I mean, he might have. I have no idea. Aye, that is it. That it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. Also, I should probably put my... Actually, let me put my Discord, because my Discord is going all wonko. I'm going to turn on streamer mode. Just so people are aware. There we go. Okay, okay.
The sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see.
Why is he so, like, sketchy?
I rest my case.
Like, I don't think he did it because there's proof that he didn't do it. But, like, why is he so weird about it? Oh, they are not looking good.
You little weasel.
Ah. He's better at this than I am.
Gosh, Mr. McGilden has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings.
Okay. So I'm gonna... Oh, well, we know this. You had no reason to kill the man. Okay, so let's just keep going. Because there's some other ones we shut the entire time we couldn't possibly have opened it. Which we know for a fact there's a latch on the window. Okay, so let's look at this. Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my luck with you in a minute.
He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute.
That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see, it's shut fast now, just like it was on the night.
So it is, of course. A fella the size of Mr. Mason couldn't likely break right through it, still and all.
What?
Just looking at the size of the thing. You understand?
Now, you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind. Loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see? But just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin. Shame. Ah, you. What do you have to say?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade!
It opens.
Hmm?
Skylight? That's what we're talking about, right? Autumn skylight's open. Dead easy.
More easily than you could load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you! Otherwise, when I broke wind, I...
You can't do it from inside your mug. Oh! Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on a roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great awe. I mean, my purse is coming out my ears.
Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me so I couldn't jump off the bus and leg it. So, what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff. Climb up on top of the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. We saw it. It can happen. It's right there. Yep. Ah! Oh, my hat! See? I love it. Order, order, order! So, it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens, and from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo, this could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Well, give me 1 second to investigate, and maybe I'll tell you. Okay. Let's take a look, see. So, the skylight was fastened shut before. But now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. Okay, let's take a look. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp post in the lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. Okay. Anything else I can see? Okay. So now I can use this as evidence for where's your proof? Well, right here. Oh. Never mind. I mean, there is a connection. That's fine. Well, let's press it. Proof. That's right, I demand to hear it. We came here to say what we saw, I tell you. Not for this. But you call us both shysters, I guess. Brand us as criminals. You call us liars, that's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves, now is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I wonder if these two men were really involved in some way. Couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilden either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of the trial. Evidence. No one can argue against the decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely. Alright, so it is that open window. One of us would have noticed. You couldn't possibly have opened it. Yes, you could have. Objection! No? What? Yeah, they could have opened it. Okay. But you could have. We have the evidence. We have the evidence. You couldn't possibly have opened it? Coincidence. Oh, maybe I should go look on the inside. Okay, never mind. I was a goop. I was gooper. A big gooper. Because then we can look up at the light. Okay. It's fine.
Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo.
Why someone like me?
What is it? Look, just here. Look at this.
Blood.
That's without question. It's blood. No, that's her.
Why would there be a blood stain there?
Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it?
There, now we can use it. Big stupid. Big stupid. Okay, now we can try it. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Okay, no reason to kill the man. We couldn't possibly have opened it. And this last one. Where's your proof? Well. My proof.
Objection!
There we go. I knew that's what we had to do.
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here, in this courtroom. Counsel. My lord, I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Well, let me get a little closer up here. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Yeah, why do I have to kick someone like you through? Cool. Look, just here, it's blued. Oh. Can't be unrelated.
Got it! By Jupiter, is that blood? The bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What?
And secondly,
The victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening.
oh my,
And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime.
Uh-oh. What do you have to say for yourself, boys?
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin.
and only found its way to that one particular spot in the skylight? Sure, and that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I?
But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean.
Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First?
Okay, this is where I'm conflicted, because that wasn't there when we looked before. It wasn't there. It just didn't exist. So I have questions. Very questions. Push this way. Actually, no, gonna push this way. Yeah, there we go. 'Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height. Right there, so it is.
What? No.
But it can't be. It's so... lies!
Hold it!
My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they?
Yeah, tap, tap, tap.
I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing.
On three, then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Oh my god. Oh my god. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, and what would you be referring to right now, Lord Van Zeeks?
A blood stain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void.
What? Why?
For one extremely simple reason. I can't read. That smear of blood never existed.
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety.
You know what? I hate to say it, but I think Mr. McGilded actually did it. And my reasoning thus far is because he is the only one wearing pink! This was a rigged case. We were meant to lose this case, I think, in my humble opinion.
At least not until this trial began.
But
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session...
Oh no! Oh no!
why are you laughing? What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. Dude, I think you did it. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts.
Adapt the facts? What does that even mean?
More like McGilted. McGilded, more like McGilty.
Oh my god, that's funny.
When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir.
Tut tut, Lord Van Zeek. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you would all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time that the court has been in session. Not entirely. When everybody shuffled out because of the smoke bomb. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think it could have been possible. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh? Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Gina could have done it. Yes, there is. It seems my learned friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take as a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruto. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Cool. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us remained to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Gina and McGill. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is. Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialize in relations to the omnibus. Inconsistencies, such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I don't know. Oh yeah, the splotch on the floor. My lord? Yes, counsel. There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you gonna say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel.
Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial?
That one. On the floor.
That's blood, isn't it? Did you say watch on the floor? Oh, mark. Mark on the floor. Zeeks has made no mention of it. It's a little strange.
Got it!
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good Lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say it was a very careless slip of the tongue. I was like, what watch? I believe that blood stain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But the question is whether the evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone. I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Oh boy!
This trial is over.
Mr. McGilded.
I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now.
But you're the defendant.
'Tis over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that blood stain is there, now.
Well...
And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zeeks. Well, my lord.
I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular blood stain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged and previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious! Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we've explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality?
As things stand at the moment, it would seem Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty.
Yes,
Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is this really alright for the trial to come to an end now? With all these unexplained inconsistencies?
counsel for the defense. Your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes the defendant could be guilty. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot, in all good conscience, attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good. Good gracious me! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. The defense lawyer, calling the accused's innocence into question. Are you of sound mind?
Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision.
What?
I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still.
And he's flipping the coin just like Jaina. Ah, they're both in on it.
Here, have this for your troubles. And he was doing that before, so I should have caught on. God damn it. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have.
What do you mean?
'Tis just as the right honourable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality.
What is wrong with you? Bro, what is wrong with you?
Magnus!
I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said.
The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You mark my words.
I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park.
And the jury is freaking out. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea.
Oh, this is interesting. Because he's pink. He totally did it. But also, there's no evidence to support that he did or didn't do it. So we didn't win and we didn't lose. This is weird. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hate it. Thank you. I hate it.
I hereby pronounce the verdict of
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies.
Objection!
But, wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair!
The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. I can't read. What?
Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time?
'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you could always go ahead and try to change the law.
Magnus McGilded.
Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you?
Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over.
Well, something to be looking forward to, then. Oh, I love him, but I hate him at the same time.
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty.
I hate this. I hate this a lot. Because the jury was on it. The jury said he was guilty.
I can't believe it either. This is outrageous. There's so much going on here. I feel like we're going to come back to this case. Or Mr. McGilden's going to do something else at a later date and is also going to be very much guilty. With the courtroom in pandemonium, for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain, oh my lord, came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. If we didn't win, we'd be sent back to Japan. That's true. We had to win, but at the cost of lies? I don't know. 18th of February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. He's also the Russian girl? I don't know. We'll see.
That certainly was a long trial.
Yes, it was.
Your first ever trial on foreign soil and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations.
And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened.
Well, we didn't have enough time.
But isn't it wrong? I mean, who is actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that.
The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection.
Aye, that you did. This little shit.
Mr. McGilded. That girl's with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true.
Oh? What stories?
About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I've you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything.
What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then?
I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning.
You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice.
Be you're young and headstrong. 'Tis water under the bridge.
Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared.
But nothing's resolved.
There's only one thing that matters to me.
Oh?
Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not?
I suppose it is.
Now the fine fellas of Scotland Yard can take matters into hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I've absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be proving a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay.
Oh, providing. It's not that funny.
So then, as we agreed aforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much.
I'd be whist. You're a humble people, are you? You from the East? Well, if you insist. But have this, still in all. You deserve a reward.
Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything's ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom...
Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not an inconvenience, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection.
Sorry? What inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing me best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. Okay. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Uh-huh. Don't move. Whereas, I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? And I ate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Oh, it's a child. Just kidding. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well? I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. She is dressed like Sholmes. I'm pretty sure this little girl is like Sholmes' assistant. Excuse me, but who are you? No, wait. Is she Sholmes' daughter? I think she's his daughter. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose. Of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? Why some more white? If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off of it for a moment whilst I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. What's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. Or laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician? What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry for when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. It's my daughter now, I don't make the rules. She's very cute. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She's so cute, though. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now, too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh! We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner have we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All of our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings. But at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry, though. I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid, just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. Now 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over. Uh-huh. Okie dokie.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God.
Open the door!
There's someone in there.
This can't be.
Huh? What? No, hold on. Is McGilded Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro? Are you kidding me? Okay. Okie dokie. Well, interesting. That was very interesting. I think we're probably going to save the start of this for the next time we play this. Unfortunately, I really want to see the start of the next one to see how we transition from that. But I also think it's a really good end point here. Huh. Well then. Also, this is being stupid again. Cool. Yeah, so that was the end of The Runaway Room. Wild time. We're going to be coming back with this next time we play, which will probably be next week at some time. Let me double check calendar. Yeah, we won't have stream next Tuesday. But we can play on Friday if we don't want to do God of War, or we can do it next Wednesday, and all that jazz. But yeah, what a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger that was. Thank you everybody for stopping in and continuing on this mysterious adventure of Ace Attorney, of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles with me. It's a good time. I'm having a great time. We'll see what happens on Friday if we continue this, because I kind of want to get started on the next one already, but we'll have to put that on hold. Updates for things. Next Monday is the next session of Nexilus Clocked In, which is a D&D live stream that I'm a part of on the Thesperians channel, which it should be in chat. Yep. Check out the Thesperians. We have a Twitter account that you can follow for Thesperians, as well as Nexilus Games, which is like the little group of us that we call ourselves Nexilus Games. And you can follow us and watch our VODs on YouTube of our past arcs and campaigns, which is a great time. We have Nexilus, or just Welcome to Nexilus, Nexilus Lotus House, Another Morning in Aelmere, and then we are on Nexilus Clocked In, which is our newest campaign, but part of the same Nexilus universe. And you should definitely go check it out. It is a fantastic time. And if you like D&D and queer actors and queer storytelling and improv and just general goofiness, definitely go check that out, because it is a great time, and I am having a blast with it. I always do, but I want to share that experience with everyone else, so you can go and check us out. Tuesday, I will not be available. I am going to be hanging out and watching a LGBTQIA plus voiceover seminar that I will probably, if I can find the link for it, I will retweet it on my Twitter. I know a few people that are going to be participating in the panel, so I bought the tickets are free, but I got a ticket to go and watch the seminar
It's really cool. It's about how to market yourself as a queer actor in voiceover. Just kind of trying to navigate the industry and the online community as a queer person, which I think is really awesome. So they have a bunch of people that can speak to different aspects of voiceover and marketing, and it's a good time. I definitely encourage you to go check it out if you are interested, and go get yourself a ticket so you can come and watch some really cool people talk about some really cool things. And then Wednesday and Friday we'll have stream as usual. And there's a possibility that I might be participating on a stream the night of October 2nd. I will double check on this. So I will I will be posting updates with things as it happens, because that invite literally came in the middle of stream. So I'll take a look at that and then see what's going on. And then I'll let everybody know on Twitter and in the Discord, which you can go ahead and jump into. There should be a link, like a permanent invite link down in my little info stuff. So definitely go look for that, and it should be a good time. D&D with some really cool people. Other than that, I don't have any updates, so I will let everyone go for the night. We'll go a little bit early. So it is 10:47 p.m. my time where I am sitting. I'm going to be the dad here and remind you to... Do I want to remind you something, or do I want to tell you something new? Okay, I'll give you a challenge, all right? I'll give you a challenge. Is that tomorrow, because we don't have stream tomorrow, make tomorrow a day to wish people well. So if you go out someplace, hold the door open for someone. If you do something nice for someone, wish them a good day. If somebody has a really cool hairstyle that you like, compliment their hair. You know, just like something small, just as a symbol of goodwill to those around you. So take tomorrow as an opportunity to say some nice things to people kind of throughout your day, and just kind of carry that vibe of community and good wishes and kindness and random acts and all that stuff. Just make that your Thursday. Make your Thursday just random act of kindness Thursday. Yeah, so that's just my little Thursday challenge, and I will be checking in on Friday to see how everything went. So with that, I will let you all go for the night, let you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and get some sleep. Get some good sleep tonight. Get comfy, drink some water, go to bed, all that. Yeah. So, love yourself, because I do, and peace out, everybody.
Thank